Welcome folks to the hurricane preparation class. For legality purposes, these are only suggestions. There's many ways to tie up a vessel. This is a method that has survived Hurricane Andrew. We had over 120 vessels that survived Hurricane Andrew without sinking, along with the other 3 hurricanes. We had gusts of wind over 150 miles an hour, and not one boat sank. Let's get started. To ensure that you have the proper ropes to secure your vessel, we recommend you get your ropes now. We start off with a minimum of 500 feet for about under 40 feet. 5/8 to 3/4 inch 3-strand nylon rope is what we use. It's the cheapest, but it stretches and it won't break. For a boat over 40 feet, 3/4 inch. Buy chafing gear anywhere as it goes across concrete on the dock. We use chafing gear. It's a clear braided hose, and we use 1 1/4 inch, and you want to use about 1 foot on each side of your finger pier or anywhere on the dock. Okay, members must seek permission from the vessel owner and a registered captain prior to crossing the bow of another boat. What I'm talking about is you're going to use long lines. You're going to go over your neighbor's bow. So you want to coordinate with your neighbor before you do that. Let them know. They're going to do the same thing to your vessel. Exchange phone numbers, emails with your neighbor. Coordinate with them so you both can help each other. Because really, 3 people is the ideal number of people to tie up a vessel. Check that all your systems are working proper. Your bilge pumps, your batteries, float switches, generator. Remember, your boat might be out of power for days after a storm. Arrange for a friend and or company if you're out of town during hurricane season to tie up your vessel. Teach them this system or any other method that you use to tie up properly. Contact our office in Cocoplum for your neighbors' phone numbers and emails. Okay folks, this is how to prepare your hurricane lines. First, you start off with unrolling your dock, your spool of rope down the dock, which you'll see on the video clip following this video. You're going to use painter's tape to go around the rope 2 or 3 times. Then you're going to use a sharp fillet knife, which is really the best way. Don't use a little pocket knife or anything. Use one of your fillet knives and cut it in the middle. Next, we use these cheap torches from Benzomatic, which you can get at Home Depot, and we melt the ends. This is going to keep them from unraveling. When you put these away, these are going to last you for years. You're going to be able to use these over and over again.
This is how red it is. Little brown.
As soon as it starts turning brown, they start melting, they're done.
Right there.
Next, you're going to use your tape and put like an ear, a little flap on there, and use a permanent marker. We like to use white duct tape or whatever tape you have. Use a marker and mark your lines. And what I mean by that is you're going to have 2 spring lines, you're going to have stern lines, and you're going to have bow lines.
Righty.
So you put port, forward, spring. Then you could also, mark everything else. Now remember, these are going to be very, very long lines. The longer the better. You're going to see in the video how we do these. When you store your lines, we use a Rubbermaid garbage can with a lid. If you can store them inside your house in the air conditioning, it will last you a lifetime. If you store them in the garage in heat, where it gets real hot, they are going to get stiff and it's going to be a lot harder to tie the knots onto the cleats around the pylons. Just so you know, and they will not last as long. Okay, folks, a lot of people ask me, when do you tie up your boat? We like to start 3 days out from a hurricane, once a hurricane watch is issued. If you don't want to wait till the last minute, first of all, you want to get your ropes and prepare them now. Like I said earlier, get your ropes, tie them up, measure them out, go ahead and tie up your boat like a hurricane's coming, and then put them away and store them. Once a hurricane watch is issued for your area, all owners or tenants must start to prepare their boats, a minimum of 36 hours before a hurricane affects their area. Vessel owners are responsible for tying up your boat. We will be taking pictures of all the vessels. All the marinas around the country do this. You got to tie up your boat, folks. The insurance companies are not giving out money like they used to. So just check with us, call me. I'll give you my cell phone number, and we could also go through this personally. Cocoplum staff is not responsible for tying up your vessel. So if we run out of time and your boat is not secured, you will be paying for all the damages. Once a hurricane warning is issued for our area, all vessel owners who fail to secure the vessels will be fined and will be charged any costs that are incurred to the vessel for tying it up, along with materials. This is steps to tie up your vessel. Now remember, folks, 36 hours prior to the storm, you've got to have your boat moved already. If you're going to go up the river or put it on a trailer, please do so before that 36-hour period before the storm hits, because we're going to be tying across the marina, across in between docks, so you might be blocked in. So if you need to move your vessel, do so way before, a week before. All right, we're going to start with the transom lines. You're going to cross your transom lines and tie it to your neighbor's farthest existing cleat on the dock. Your rear spring lines are going to start from your forward cleats, come back to the dock. Forward spring lines, the same thing. Your bow lines are going to go to your farthest neighbor's piling. Not your piling right beside you, but to your neighbor's piling. Never run your lines or chains under a boat without the vessel's owner's permission. Use plenty of fenders. Most of the time it doesn't work, but try putting fenders in between you and the dock if your boat is really wide and you're close to concrete. Always pull your boat all the way away from the dock up against your mid pile. Do not tie to the 6x6 wooden fenders that are on the finger piers. They're not built for securing anything to. Those are just to keep you from going underneath the dock. Wherever the rope comes in contact with the dock, please use a chafing gear like we talked about before. Finger pairs coming off the cleats. If you aren't going to use a chain, which we recommend using a chain, this is 5/16, 2 foot of chain with a shackle. And you can attach all your ropes to this. Like we talked about earlier, you can attach up to 4 ropes to this. Keep all loose gear secure on your boat.
This is on the dock. So you just
You can get all this at Home Depot or any marine hardware, Captain Eddie's, Kurt Brook, Rusty Man. Try to get stainless chain if you can. That way it'll be around for years. Keep all your loose gear stowed inside your boat or take it home. Coolers, chairs, buckets, etc. To reduce damage, remove your clear curtains and bimini top. Lower and secure your antennas. What I mean by that is lower your antenna down to an angle, not all the way flat against your top where it's going to beat against your top. Keep it at an angle. We use clothesline, it's called clothesline cord. Tie it, put a bend in it. Put a little bend in it, and that'll keep it from shaking. As soon as it starts vibrating at 100 miles an hour, they just turn to dust. Cover all your electronics and everything else with a blue painter's tape. We recommend 2 rolls of this, which you can get at Home Depot, anywhere, any of your marine supplies. Doesn't stick to the boat, it'll stay on there for a couple days so you can remove it. Cover your doors, your hatches, your fuel vent, your windows, all around your window seams. All your electronic lockers, go around the edges of those. Even this little thin tape, it keeps the air from getting in there and opening up the hatches, and also keeps moisture from getting in there. Keep an inventory and take pictures of all the items on your boat. So afterwards, if anything's missing, you can file a claim. Fill up your fuel and water tanks. That's going to make your boat a little bit heavier and keep your boat from moving around as much. Remove your hose from the dock and your power cord. We're going to turn off the power approximately 4 to 6, 8 hours prior to the storm, depends on how fast it's moving. Your power cord and your hose will knock holes in your windows, scratch up your boat, so take it off the dock, store it inside your boat, or take it home. We're going to turn off the power prior to the storm, because if the water rises over the dock, it's going to do damage to your power posts as well as to your boat. Check your high water alarms, make sure they're working properly. Replace your dock lines every 5 years, your standard dock lines. These lines here, your hurricane lines, if you keep them properly, like I talked about earlier, they'll last for 20 years minimum. If damages are occurred to your vessel, immediate action should be taken after the storm to save it from further damage or loss. Vessel owner is expected to take those actions that a prudent person would take to save and preserve his property. If the vessel appears to be constructive total loss, arrangements will still have to be made to remove the hull, which means you're going to have to contact a salvage company. Okay, folks, once again, these are tools of the trade. A little benzomatic torch, a whetstone for your knife, blue painter's tape. This is what you're going to use on your boat, not the white duct tape. The white duct tape is what we use to mark the lines. Only to mark the lines. This line here is for your antennas, your outriggers, etc. Okay, this is the final step. I wanted to teach you how we secure a rope line to the chain that's on the dock. I use a simple bowline. Bowline's an easy knot, and it's in the Florida handbook that's going to be online and in the video. That knot right there, once you pull that knot, after a hurricane, it's one of the few knots that you can untie easily and still salvage a rope without cutting it. A lot of these knots, once the 120-mile-an-hour wind hits, you're going to have to use a knife to cut the line off the piling or off your boat. That's the only unfortunate thing. And also, once you secure that line on that chain, you still want to tape it, just in case. It only takes a minute, and it's really cheap insurance to ensure the rope does not come apart. And that's what it looks like. And remember, you're going to be using 2 lines for every chain, a minimum. 2 lines on every cleat on your boat. So you're going to have 2 lines on your stern going both directions. So you're going to have 4 lines on your stern, 2 lines on your spring each way, forward and aft, 2 lines on your bow going both directions. So you're going to have a total of 16 lines. That's why we start off with 600 foot of rope. Okay, folks, at the beginning, you start with your 600 foot of spool of rope, and you lay the spool on its side and you roll it down the dock. That way, when you are pulling out your lengths to your cleats and to the cleats on the dock, it doesn't spiral off the top of the spool. You just roll it out, and that keeps the rope nice and straight. Go ahead and let go. Let it go. Let it go. And that way, the rope never gets in a knot. And then you measure your length. It takes 3 people to tie up the boat. and you're going to have one guy go to the cleat or to the piling, and you start from there. But this is the basics starting to tie up your boat. All right, folks, what we do is we attach to the neighbor's pile. We don't use the existing piling as normal. We use extra long lines, so when you have the tidal rise, your boat will rise up. That's why we use double lines on everything. Every single cleat has double lines. Extra long, you're going to go to your neighbor's piling on both sides and to your neighbor's cleat in the stern. The spring lines on the boat are going to be from the dock to your forward or mid cleat, and from the bow piling to your stern cleat. So everything is extra long, double lines. Remember, double lines. A minimum of 5/8, 3/4 for anything over 50 feet. All right, folks, this is how I secure a piling. Nothing fancy. It's just a basic around the piling, around, and then over the line. So you can see it's crosses. And then we're going to use half hitches. First, you're just going to tie a regular knot and then half hitches. And what this does is, as the wind starts blowing, it's going to pull tight. And then what I do is I finish and secure the rope so it doesn't whip around and come loose in the wind. Okay, folks, this blue painter's tape is one of your best friends. We use approximately 2 rolls of this, and we seal the door, we seal the hatches, we seal the tackle center, we seal everything. We haven't sealed everything on this boat. This is just for showing purposes. Your hatches, anything that you can seal that has a airway where the air can get underneath and take this hatch out of here, you want to seal up. Your freezers, your fuel vent, any little hatch that's on the boat, you want to seal up with the blue painter's tape. It's cheap and it'll save you a lot of headaches after the storm. Okay, folks, on the dock itself, tying to a cleat, we're on the concrete, we use 24 inches of 5/8 chain. And that keeps your rope from fraying on the concrete itself if it's a prolonged storm. Each area that you attach on the dock, there's going to be concrete or wood that can fray your rope. We recommend using 24 inches of chain with a shackle and attaching your rope to that chain. You could also tie up to 4 ropes because your neighbors might also be attaching to that cleat as well. So it gives you room to tie plenty of ropes as well. Also, we tape the ends of the ropes whenever you make a knot and there's a loose end. If you tape that, it keeps that rope from fraying. And later on, we'll show you with a torch how we seal the ends of the rope.